everybody, welcome to part 2 of the solar install. Now last week you saw us pop the panels out of the wall, get the wiring into the house, so what we're going to do today is get solar controller connected, all the battery in and get the inverter running. So let's get cracking. Okay, so the first thing we've got to do, even though you actually can't see me here but you can see what I'm doing, is get the crimps put onto the end of the cables. Now the thing that you've got to remember as well is this cable is rated for the specific job. It's the stuff that comes with the solar controller and the solar panels. Now it's rated at 1000 volts, which we're never going to be putting through that using the system out there. But its current rating is, I think if you remember, it's about 80 amps. Now that's something to bear in mind with the cable size. I don't think we're going to be getting above that, but it's something we've got to keep in mind as the solar panel array grows. But for now we're just doing the single pipe in and running this into the controller with the crimps on. Again, like I said earlier, you need to remember your solar controller must connect to the battery before your solar panel gets into the controller. The circuitry inside won't be able to handle the soak just trying to dissipate that amount of energy in one go. So don't try it because you will break the controller. But simple case of stripping the wire on the end, getting one of the crimps that actually comes with the controller, and if you've not got any, these are fantastic. These are proper crimping tools. The more basic ones, although they do the job, never seem to get a really tight crimp on it. So it's well worth investing in a decent set of crimp tools, and you'll end up with a good crimp every time that won't come off, it is nice and tight. So I'll get the other one done and start getting things connected. So now that the crimps are on, we're ready to actually start connecting things. Now the beauty about lithium batteries is you don't have to have them in a specific direction. So you can actually have them lying on the side like this, so it's handy to stack them up on top, or you can have them stood up, whichever way you fancy. The terminals are slightly different on lithium batteries as well. These are literally M6 screws which go straight into the posts. It's a lot easier to deal with than the battery connectors on lead acids. And the other big thing that you do notice is that is a lot lighter than a lead acid. That's about 6.5 kilograms. Equivalent 55 amp hour, you're looking probably around about 12 kilograms if it was a lead acid battery or an AGM. So yeah, they're a lot lighter. So we're going to go through the connection sequence. So solar controller, it's got its pigtails on already, ready to go down to the battery. Now again, this is what's known as thin wall cable. This is the stuff we use for the radio control. This is rated at 90 amps. It looks tiny, but its actual cross-sectional area allows it to transfer quite a lot more current than a normal setup would do. So yes, that's going straight onto the battery, and the way that things work is the inverter is also going to attach to the battery as well to the same point. Basically you don't run anything from there that's a massive load. That's literally just do your solar charging, get the solar panels to feed the current into the batteries, not provide a massive load at something like an inverter. So let's get that connected. So that's our battery connected to the inverter and the solar controller. Now you might be able to make that out. The battery's currently got 13.1 volts in it because I had it connected outside, but literally you've got no solar indicator at the side there, so nothing's actually coming in on that line. So let's get the solar panels connected and we should see something coming in because it's still bright enough outside to actually generate a bit of electric. and that's the solar connected. As you can see, we're generating a bit of solar. It's going 300 milliamps because the sun's actually sort of on its way down now, but we are generating some electric even at this sort of low light level. So ideal. We've got plenty of sort of oomph coming in, so we're good to actually sort of let this charge a bit, and then we can test the inverter. Battery and solar controller connected. As you can see, it's just a little bit dark down the corner, but we are generating a bit of electric. And you'll notice the inverter is actually upside down. The reason being is on this one, the sockets are on that end. So if I had it the other way, the sockets would be coming out into the battery. Didn't really want that. Doesn't make too much of a difference. But let's power up. And you'll hear the beep so that it's active. And while that's upside down, let's just give it a spin around so you can see. On there, basically, there's your status of the inverter, which is okay. The outlet is giving 240 volts, which is exactly what we want. The battery at the moment is at 13 volts, which is as near as, damn it, on that scale, full. But that's only calibrated for a lead acid battery, so it's not that accurate. The one that really will make it more accurate is to use your reference, which is slightly different for lithium, and I'll pop that on screen now. So essentially a lithium cell, it actually charges at around 14.4 volts, that brings it up to 100%. Then as soon as you take that off charge, it will float down to 13.6 volts, which is its normal sort of resting 100%. And you can see from the chart there, it actually gives you quite a lot of actual sort of usable power until it gets quite low. Just put another chart up now, which actually shows the curve. So you can see right on the left hand side, it's a very sharp drop down from its charge voltage to its resting voltage. And you can see it just tapers along gently until it falls off right towards the bottom. So you get a lot more usable energy from the lithium, and it gives you essentially a much more even curve rather than using sort of essentially half of your voltage, or literally just from sort of providing some current like you get with a normal lead acid. It's much more stable and gives you a lot more usable capacity for a given battery size. So that's what gives you the real advantage with a lithium battery. Like I say, with lead acid, you start off at around about 12.6, 12.7 when it's sort of standard sort of float off charge, and that'll drop down. As soon as you get to about 11.5 volts, you're almost done. There's not really much in there, and it's a very linear drop as well. The other bonus that you get with lithium is what you actually see as your amp hours is what you actually get. I'm going to say this is a 55 amp hour battery that we run down here. That gives us 55 amp hours of usable actual capacity. On a sealed lead acid or sort of gel battery or something like that, AGM battery, if I got a 55 amp hour, I would actually only get about 27.5. You're only getting 50% of your actual advertised capacity because the drop off is sort of quite major, and its cut out point before you start doing damage to the cells is quite high, which is one thing that lithium is a lot better for. Another thing that lithium has been known for in the past has been a little bit unstable. A lot of that is how it's charged as well. The new lithium cells for stuff like this are designed to be a drop-in for a lead acid battery, so they've got onboard battery management systems which balance the cells and actually control the level of charge that comes in. The older systems that you see with sort of batteries exploding and stuff like that, that's normally because you've got a single cell and you're trying to overcharge or overuse the capacity. So you've got a window that it's completely safe. Obviously you do have an issue, like I say, if a lithium battery does get punctured, they normally do tend to have quite an explosive result. I've actually had one that gone up on me a bit back while it was charging, and yeah, they do put out quite a lot of smoke and a little bit of flame with it as well, which is why now all of my lithium charging is done in what's called a sort of a fire safe unit, which is actually designed for the radio control market to actually charge batteries in. It's the sort of thing you don't actually need that with these, because the battery management is a lot tidier, and because you can't over discharge them, because the battery management will cut that out for you. You can't overcharge them, the battery management will cut that out for you. They're completely safe. It's like charging a phone battery. Really safe, and I'd say yes, the cost is very high at the moment, but they're coming down all the time. So I think these are going to be a good drop-in replacement for the van as well. Obviously when the price comes down, at the minute they're around about 3 to 4 times more expensive than a standard lead acid battery. So yeah, they've got a way to come to get to that sort of level yet. So there we go, one install complete and ready for use. Now, as I said, this is a test to see how this works. The plan is, because we've got plenty of capacity in the inverter, keep on adding batteries as we go, and keep on adding solar panels. The 220 watt panels that are run at the moment, in 4 hours direct sunlight they should generate a kilowatt of energy. Roughly working things out, that should give us enough to actually run certainly the TV, probably a few chargers for an entire day. Obviously the thing that you've got to sort of remember is you're not just limited by your capacity in the battery, because if the sun's out and you're using the battery, it'll be being topped up while you're using it. So it's a bit of a sort of a floaty sort of a sliding scale as to how much you're going to get out of it. Certainly the sun's just about sort of gone now, we're getting close to sunset. There's still a little trickle of charge coming through, so they are working quite well. I'll do a video next week about the different types of solar panel install setups, specifically between the serial setup like I've gone for here and the parallel like I've got on the van. A couple of the pros and cons in between them. Could be quite handy if you're not sure how that works, but like I say, everything that I've done is all from eBay. It's all readily available, not massively expensive. This is a budget setup, but it's something we want to test, and in the current climate I think it's ideal to actually give us a bit of extra free energy, and it's going to save us quite a bit on the electricity bills. So there you go, that's the install, all done, all set, ready to go, and hopefully that should give you some insight as to how it's all sort of set up and how it runs. Like I said, at the moment we're going through possibly the worst energy crisis we've ever known, with all the stuff that's going on in the world. Electricity prices and gas prices are skyrocketing. It's getting worse every month as well. It's just going up and up and up. So people are actually cutting down quite a lot. Big thing at the moment is getting an air fryer, which I didn't actually realise when myself and Pip bought one a few weeks back. Well, probably a couple of months back. So much so the ones that we've got, fairly good budget models, and they're like double the price what we're willing to pay for them now. Absolutely crazy. But what we actually decided was it'd be a good idea to try and save energy, so sort of cut things down. Like I say, we change the TV to actually give us a more sort of economical sort of setup if you've got the TV on. Change things like the lighting, everything's LED now, so there's no sort of incandescent bulbs or halogen bulbs, so we brought that down, so that's helped with the usage a lot. The big thing was, can we actually get some free energy like we do on the van? And I think this might work. If this does work, I'm going to say at the moment it's just temporary setup. We'll keep on adding bits to it, keep on testing, and we'll let you know how things go. I will do a video about the different sort of setups and how things sort of work and stuff like that. Because you don't always have to get like the all singing, all dancing stuff. This is all from eBay, and I'll pop links down below as to where I got them from. It's not massively expensive, but it's a good setup to actually get you started. Like I said, I paid just under 650 quid for it, and I think over the next few months we're probably going to see that come back fairly quickly with stuff that we're moving on to it. So yeah, well worth keeping on the channel, and sort of you'll see the video come up soon on that. So if you've enjoyed this video, please do hit the thumbs up, really helps us out no end. And if you're not subscribed, do hit that subscribe button. I'm going to do more videos about the solar setups, and it's all going to be relevant not just to the house but into the van as well. So it'd be really handy if you're sort of thinking about stuff and your electric side of things. It'll be quite good information for you, I think. And there's quite a lot out there that is going to be sort of mirrored between the van and the house. Definitely, as much as possible, move into 12 volts, and the stuff that we can sort of keep on to 240, reduce the energy use as much as possible. But stay tuned, subscribe, hit that notification bell and you'll see more coming on as we come through, and hopefully it'll be of use to you and be really helpful. But for now, we'll see you on the next one. Take care.